Many men dream of being rich. They chase it, they bleed for it, they sacrifice their youth, their health, their families, all for a number in a bank account. But few realize that wealth can be another kind of prison, the most beautiful, most comfortable prison ever built, but a prison nonetheless. The Stoics knew a secret whispered in the halls of Roman power, from the lips of an emperor to the ears of a slave, a secret that has been forgotten in our age of endless consumption. Being rich means nothing unless you are free. The illusion of wealth. Slaves in golden chains look around you. The modern world sells us a single powerful story, that wealth equals happiness, that a bigger house, a faster car, a higher title will fill the void inside. And so, we run. We climb the ladder, believing paradise is at the top. But for so many who arrive, they don't find freedom. They find a higher, more gilded cage. They become the man who owns a dozen properties across the globe, yet fears the next market crash so intensely he cannot sleep. He doesn't own his assets. His assets own him. His peace of mind is pegged to the S&P 500. They become the entrepreneur who built $1 billion empire, but is now a slave to his calendar. His days are scheduled in 6-minute increments from dawn until midnight. He has all the money in the world, but not a single moment of unstructured time. He has forgotten the sound of his own thoughts. They become the celebrity, adored by millions, yet terrified of saying the wrong word, of one bad photo, of losing the fickle adoration of the crowd. Their self-worth is outsourced to the opinions of strangers. These are not free men. They are slaves in golden chains. They have achieved the world's definition of success, only to realize they've lost themselves in the process. Their wealth has become a source of anxiety, not liberation. Their possessions have become their masters. The problem isn't the money. The problem is the attachment to the money, the fear of its loss, the insatiable desire for more. This is the hedonistic treadmill, a race with no finish line designed to keep you running until you collapse. The ancient Stoics saw this trap 2,000 years ago. They watched powerful senators, wealthy merchants, and celebrated generals become puppets of their own fortunes. And they offered a different path. Not a path of poverty, but a path of inner freedom so profound that your external circumstances become secondary. A path to being rich and free. The Stoic philosophy on wealth. The emperor, the advisor, and the slave. To understand this secret, we must turn to 3 incredible figures from the ancient world. 3 men who lived at the opposite ends of the social spectrum, yet arrived at the same profound truth. First, the emperor, Marcus Aurelius, literally the most powerful man on the planet. He could have had anything he desired. Palaces of gold, endless feasts, 1,000 servants. Yet, in his private journal, the book we now call Meditations, what did he write about? He wrote about self-control, about duty, about remembering his own mortality. He reminded himself constantly, the things you desire are trivial, perishable, and worthless. He saw the pomp and ceremony of his court for what it was, a distraction. He understood that his power and wealth were temporary roles he was playing. They were not him. His focus was on his character, the one thing that could not be taken from him. He was the richest man in the world, yet he trained his mind to need nothing. That is power. Next, the advisor, Seneca the Younger. He was a playwright, a political advisor to the Emperor Nero, and one of the wealthiest men in Rome. His enemies criticized him for hypocrisy. How could he write about philosophy while living in such luxury? But they missed the point. Seneca's genius was in his detachment. He taught that wealth is a preferred indifferent. It's preferable to have it than not, but it has zero bearing on your ability to live a virtuous, happy life. He famously wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Seneca enjoyed his wealth, but he never let it define him. He practiced what he preached. He would regularly spend days living as a poor man, eating simple food, sleeping on the floor, wearing coarse clothes. Why? To remind himself that he could lose it all and be perfectly fine. To train his mind to be free from the fear of loss. He mastered his money by proving to himself he didn't need it. Finally, the slave. Epictetus. His story is perhaps the most powerful of all. He was born a slave. He had no property, no rights, no control over his own body. His master, a cruel man, once twisted his leg until it broke, and it remained lame for the rest of his life. And yet, Epictetus was freer than his master, freer than the emperor himself. How? Because he understood the fundamental Stoic principle, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus realized that his body, his property, his reputation, his freedom, all of it, could be taken from him at any moment. They were external. They were not in his control, but his mind, his thoughts, his judgments, his choices, those were his and his alone. No one could force him to think a certain way. No one could break his inner character. He once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Think about that. An emperor who lived like a philosopher, a millionaire who practiced poverty, a slave who possessed the freedom of a king. They all understood the secret. True wealth isn't what you have, it's what you are. It's an internal state of being, completely independent of your external fortune. The paradox, rich and still free. This brings us to the great paradox. The modern world tells you to choose. You can either be a starving artist, a monk on a mountain, renouncing all material possessions to be free, or you can be a ruthless tycoon, chained to his desk, sacrificing his soul for wealth. The Stoics say this is a false choice. The goal is not to be poor. Poverty has its own set of anxieties and miseries. The goal is to be invulnerable to fortune, whether she gives you a kingdom or takes it all away. How is this possible? By shifting your identity. You are not your bank account. You are not your job title. You are not your house or your car. These are just props on the stage of your life. They are external things that you can use, but they do not define the actor. The actor is your character, your soul, your reasoned choice. The man who is rich and free operates from a different paradigm. He sees money for what it is, a tool to provide for his family, to build things of value, to buy back his time, to help his community. He is the master of the tool. The tool is not the master of him. If the tool breaks or is lost, he does not break with it. He finds another way. He practices amor fati, a love of his fate. When he makes a fortune, he is grateful and uses it wisely. When he loses a fortune, he accepts it as part of life's grand design, an opportunity to practice resilience. He doesn't waste a moment in complaint or despair because that is outside his control. He asks, "What is my next right action?" He understands that the ultimate currency is not money, it is time and freedom. He would never trade an hour of his life he can't get back for $1 he can easily replace. He uses wealth to buy autonomy, not to build a bigger prison. This is the man who can walk with kings but not lose the common touch. He can enjoy a 5-star meal, but also be perfectly content with bread and water. He can run a global corporation, but be ready to walk away from it all tomorrow if it compromises his principles. He is rich but he is free, because his sense of self-worth is internal. It is forged in virtue, discipline, and self-mastery. And that is a fortress no market crash can ever breach. The Stoic in the arena. This isn't just ancient philosophy. It is a practical blueprint for navigating the chaos of the modern world. Let's bring this into your life. Number 1. In business and your career, the conventional path is to chase promotions, titles, and a bigger salary at all costs. The Stoic path is to chase excellence, contribution, and self-mastery. The Stoic entrepreneur isn't building his company just for the exit strategy, for the yacht and the mansion. He is building it because he is in love with the process, the challenge, the problem he is solving. The money is a byproduct of the value he creates. Because his ego isn't tied to the valuation, he can make clear, rational decisions without fear. He can pivot, he can fail, he can start again, because his identity is a creator of value, not a man worth X million dollars. The Stoic professional doesn't fear his boss. He doesn't fear being fired. He does his work to the absolute best of his ability, because that is within his control. The outcome, the promotion, the recognition, the layoff, is external. His self-worth comes from the quality of his effort, not the reward. This lack of fear makes him more powerful, more honest, and paradoxically, more valuable. Number 2. In your relationships. A man enslaved by money uses it as a crutch. He tries to buy love, to impress with status, to control with financial power. This is a house built on sand. The Stoic man, rich and free, knows that his character is his greatest asset. He seeks a partner who values his virtue, his strength, his presence, not his wallet. He uses his resources to create shared experiences and security, not as a tool for manipulation. He can be generous without being a fool, because his generosity comes from a place of abundance, not a need for validation. Number 3. In your self-mastery. This is the ultimate application. Your financial life is a mirror of your inner discipline. Are you an impulsive spender, a slave to every fleeting desire? Or are you deliberate, treating your resources with respect? Do you invest in fleeting pleasures, or do you invest in your skills, your knowledge, your health, the assets that can never be fully taken from you? The Stoic budget is not about restriction, it is about intention. Every dollar is a vote for the man you want to become. Spend it accordingly. Practical steps. Forging an unconquerable mind. Philosophy is useless unless it is lived. Talk is cheap. Here are 5 practical exercises, drawn directly from the Stoics, that you can begin today to master your relationship with money and reclaim your freedom. Step 1. Practice voluntary discomfort. Once a week, or even once a month, deliberately choose to live with less. Take a cold shower. Eat a simple meal of rice and beans. Leave your phone at home and go for a long walk. As Seneca did, sleep on the floor for a night. Ask yourself, is this the condition I so feared? You will discover your own resilience. You will inoculate yourself against the fear of poverty, making you braver and freer in prosperity. Step 2. Negative visualization. Premeditatio malorum. This is the Stoic superpower. Every morning, for just 5 minutes, vividly imagine losing the things you value. Imagine your business fails. Imagine the stock market crashes and your investments are wiped out. Imagine you have to sell your house and your car. Don't wallow in it. The point is to transition from that thought to a feeling of immense gratitude for what you have right now. This practice severs the chains of attachment and makes you appreciate your current fortune, however large or small. Step 3. Define enough. The modern world wants you to never have enough. There's always a new phone, a better car, a bigger house. This is a trap. Sit down with a journal and define your finish line. What does rich actually mean to you? Not a vague fantasy, but a concrete number. How much do you need to live well, to be secure, to be free? Once you know your number, you can stop running on the treadmill. You can start optimizing for freedom instead of more. Step 4. Audit your desires. Carry a small notebook or use an app. Every time you feel a strong desire to buy something you don't need, write it down. Note the feeling. Then, wait 30 days. At the end of the month, look at the list. How many of those urgent desires still feel important? You will be shocked at how few do. You are training your mind to distinguish between true needs and fleeting wants, which is the foundation of inner wealth. Step 5. View money as a soldier. See every dollar you have as a soldier in your army. You are the general. Are you sending your soldiers out on foolish missions to die for fleeting pleasures? Or are you deploying them strategically to capture valuable assets? Assets like more time, more skills, more freedom for you and your family? Command your resources with purpose. Don't let them command you. Call to action. The path of the Stoic is not for everyone. It is a hard road. It demands everything from you. But the reward is a life of meaning, resilience, and true freedom. If you are ready to walk this path, if you are tired of being a slave to your desires and the world's expectations, then join us. Subscribe to this channel. We do not offer easy answers. We offer timeless wisdom for the man who is willing to do the work. Real men don't beg, they build. Hit subscribe, and we'll keep building together.